First, to catch your horse, you put the rope over its neck and you pull its head up if it's grazing. And then you flip its nose through the nose piece and fasten it. But you just tie a knot. This is how you should lead your horse. You should have your hand about this far from the halter, and you click and start walking. You should not be like this. You should not be like this. Come on, horsey, come on. Come on, horsey. This is how to tie a knot. First, you cross it over the back, turn it over, take this over, and pull it through. And then if you're tying your horse for an extended amount of time, take the end through the loop. And then all you have to do to take it out is just pull this out and pull the rope. Start brushing your horse, you first start with the curry comb. This gets like all of this mud off quickly and easily with just a few strokes. You don't want to push down really hard or else it could hurt your horse, you know. But you want to push down hard enough that you can get all this mud off. And once you've brushed your horse off with the curry comb, you want to use the stiff brush. This brush, you can get their face gently with it. Get all the mud off their face, their ears. And then you can brush the rest of his body in quick, short, flicking your wrist strokes. And this just gets all the dirt and dust that your curry comb misses and can't get off. Okay, now that you have your horse brushed down with the stiff brush, you use your soft body brush to finish it. This just works all the oils up from the bottom of their coat and gets them really nice and shiny, and just kind of lays all the hair down flat. To brush your horse's mane, we use a dog brush. It just does the job a lot better than a mane comb. First, you take and you brush, and you just kind of, if your horse's mane is really rowdy, you start at the bottom and work your way up like you were brushing your own hair or a girl's hair. To brush your horse's tail, you first grab their tail and stand over to the side of him. This way, they can't kick you or cow kick you from if you're standing like that. First, you can kind of brush these little hairs up here. And then you start at the bottom. And like this horse has cockaburrs in his tail, you just want to work these out and kind of pull all the hair out from them and pull them out and then just throw them off. So, and then you can just work on brushing out their tail and getting it all brushed like you would your own hair. To pick up your horse's hoof, you run your hand down his leg, squeeze right here and kind of push him off balance. Then you can hold his hoof right here and you start from the top and work your way down. Be careful not to hit this right here with the hoof pick too hard because that's called their frog and it's very sensitive. To put the saddle pads on a horse, you first gently make sure there's nothing on their back and gently throw it on and square it up. Cut. To throw the saddle on, you stand over your horse's shoulders and you keep it up there. You make sure it's even. And you want to have at least an inch between with the saddle pad showing in the front. Once you have the saddle up there, you pull the breast collar over and let it hang. And then you take this, you push the tongue down, and you pull it down. And you want to make sure everything's good. The first thing you do is pull the girth out, reach under, and if you're unfamiliar with your horse, you may want to make sure that he's okay with you playing underneath his belly. You thread it through, you loop it back through this D-ring, come back down through again, and depending on how tight it is, you may have to do that again. And then you gently pull up about half, 3/4 of the way. Then you reach around, get his breast collar, and secure his breast collar either to the D-ring what the girth goes through, or some saddles have an extra little D-ring just for the breast collar. And you don't want this to be too tight, or else it'll be uncomfortable for your horse. But you don't want to have it too loose, or else it won't have a purpose. Then you clip this strand right here to the first D-ring on the girth. Once you clip that, you take the back cinch and you fasten it. You don't want it to be tight, but you don't want it to be loose. You want it to be just snug up against where you can fit fingers in, but you can't just fit your whole hand and fist in there, or else they'll get their back legs stuck in it. Then, when you get ready to ride, you can tighten it up the rest of the way. You want to do this slowly, or else they might get cinchy and they'll pace around whenever you go to do it. Once you finish tightening the cinch, you take it and you thread it through here, so that way you don't have the excess latigo hanging down. Whenever you're ready to put his bridle on, you take his halter off. And if you're unsure about if your horse will stay or not, you can loop it around, but I know he'll stay. Then you take your hand, put it right here, put the bridle up, and you can put it up to his mouth. And if he doesn't take it, you put your thumb in the corner of his mouth where there aren't any teeth. You pull his forelock out to where it doesn't pull, and then you fasten. You don't want it tight. You want to be able to fit at least 2 fingers in it, so that way you don't strangle or cause discomfort to your horse. To mount, you put your left foot in the left stirrup and jump off your right foot and slowly set down in the saddle, and then you put your right foot in the stirrup. To walk, you gently kick your horse's sides and cluck if he needs to be clucked. Then, to turn this horse neck reins, which if you want to turn to the right, you put his left rein against his neck, like this. To turn to the left, you put his right rein up against his neck. But if you have a horse that doesn't neck rein, you simply pull his head around. If you want to back, you gently pull backwards on the reins and close your legs around his sides. Close your legs in around his sides whenever he's at a walk, and you cluck. And in a Western style, you keep your butt in the saddle and you don't post, which posting would be like this. To lope, you just give him another cluck. Which he's kind of ornery sometimes, so you kind of have to keep him under check. And then to stop, you lean back and say, "Oh." To dismount, you keep your hands in your reins, and if you need to, you can hold on to your saddle horn for support. Take your foot out of your right stirrup, swing your leg over, grab the cantle, step down, and take your foot out. To take off your bridle, you put your reins right here, and you unfasten the throat latch. Then you gently pull it off his ears and let him take it off out of his mouth. Then you grab your halter and put your halter back on. First thing you do is take off his back cinch. Then you unsnap, and then you take off his breast collar. Then you take it out of there. You have to pull it up to get the tongue out of the hole. And then you finish loosening it up. Then you take this through and you loop the Latigo around to where that way all you have to do next time is pull this back spot. Then you go around to the other side, take the tongue off the girth, which is this, put it through there, take it, flip it over like this, and stick the tongue through the little slot. And then you take the breast collar and throw it over. Now you pull the slot off. You grab the pads like this, and then you slowly slide the saddle off his back. Some different feeds are hay, which is the main diet for a horse in the winter. Grass, which is the main food for horses in the summer. Many horses receive grain. Grain supplements their diet and can also help put on pounds on a skinny horse. Most performance horses are filled with grain to help supplement their diet. Salt blocks provide horses with extra nutrients they don't get from hay and grass. Salt blocks also make your horse thirsty, so make sure you have enough water to supply your horse with. Warning: feeding your horse too much may cause founder, which causes pain in the joints and can damage their hoof. They can also suffer from colic if you feed them too much too quickly. This can cause severe pain in the stomach, and it will cause them to roll. While they roll, their stomach and intestines may twist. This can kill your horse. Water. Whether it comes from a tank or a creek, it is important you supply your horse with at least 10 gallons of water each day. A horse can drink up to 22 gallons of water in hot weather. If you have just finished a hard workout with your horse, you may need to only let your horse drink a couple gulps at a time to keep them from getting chilled.